Right, welcome. This is the Lockdown Lowdown. I'm Dev Sani, and today I'm going to be joined by one of the brightest talents in world boxing. Not just British boxing, I'm talking about the whole world. He is the British super flyweight champion. He is undefeated in 14 fights. He goes by the name of Showtime, and he is on the line. Sonny Edwards, how you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you, Dev?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Look, before we get into anything like boxing related, I've got to ask you, I went to your Instagram page the other day and I saw 0 posts. 0. What happened?
0 points.
Yeah.
I'm about to drop a mixtape.
Oh.
Nah. Do you know what it is, right? I've had this conversation with people close to me. And I have a lot of people that just watch everything I do, you know. They watch all my stories because Instagram lets you look at that now. Watch my stories, and they're just sort of like preying, is what I say. They're just preying. They're having a look, but they're not supporting nothing. And right now, while nothing's going on,
right,
I put my account on private, and I've archived all my pictures. They're not deleted, so I still have all my memories, all my posts, and I can put them back whenever. But I'm just being a bit more selective about what people can see of me, because I think people assume that they have a very good idea of my life. They think that I post everything, when really that could be further from the truth. So I'm just doing something a bit different, to be honest. Just probably more out of boredom than anything else. I make my posts and that a bit less accessible, and for some reason it seems to make more people want to follow me, want to actually watch what comes up. So in a roundabout way, I'm sort of promoting myself in a different way. And now, in order for them to see what I'm up to, they've got to follow me. And then I get to control who it actually does.
Well, sometimes less is more, right? Well, since we're talking about that, and you like controlling what goes on your feeds and all that, and people's perception of you, just a question off the top of my head, because I saw you interacting on Twitter about this the other day. If someone does an act for charity, they're giving away some money in this time for the NHS, and then they post it on Twitter, what's your sort of view on that?
I mean, I'm quite a charitable person with things like, but I never want recognition for them, or I'll give money to the homeless people just because, like, I know a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't because they're going to use it on drugs. I feel like their life's hard enough. Whatever they want to spend that money on, spend it on. Do you know what I mean? That's my mindset. Whatever helps them sleep a little bit better on that night. And I mean, like, donating to people's little charity causes and that. Like, I'm quite charitable. That being said, a lot of people have the negative side of things, looking at, well, they're only doing that so people think they're a good person, or using it for, like, I don't know, promotional tour, etc., which is true. But what's his name? Braun. Is it Scott Braun?
Who, the wrestler?
No. There is some entrepreneur. Anyway,
right.
Basically, he said 50% of your charity work should be done in private just for you, but then 50% should be out there, because that might inspire people to then do it as well. And that I kind of agree with. I mean, the Anthony Fowler thing about giving money to NHS, like, I don't get why people are so asked in such a negative way. Even like boxing people, like, oh, I wish you kept this to yourself. Like, what's better? My question is, what's better? Someone that does something charitable and tells you about it, or someone that does nothing at all? And I know I think the world would benefit more from, like, even if they are getting their own little, I don't know, gratification from putting out there, getting that recognition. But the main important thing is the person receiving it.
100%. Well, I think you can forgive the gratification that they get, because they might inspire someone and they're doing something good. So I'm kind of all for it. But it's an interesting topic, because there's a lot of it going on right now, as you've seen.
I personally don't do it. Like, I will sign anything for anyone, for anything, if it's put in front of me. But I don't really feel the need to put out like I'm this good person, because, like, a lot of people do a lot of things for the image and the things that it comes, like, it can benefit them from. But at the same time, they're still doing something good. So it's just like, there's no right or wrong answer. Like, no matter what you do, people will find a negative spin on it. I mean, you could find the cure for cancer, and then people will be like, well, why is it taking you this long?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing you can do to please everyone. There isn't.
So how is life in lockdown for Sonny Edwards? What are you doing day to day? How are you coping with it all?
I've spent a lot of time with my child, John. A lot of time. Because when I'm training, I can't have him as much, because getting up in the mornings, I mean, having to do stuff like all the time. So I've had him like half the time, which is the first time in, my life, his life. I've had him that much, but it's been great, to be honest. Then when I haven't got him, I've just been relaxing and chilling. I do need to start, upping my training. I've done about 2 sessions, but it's hard when we have no idea when the end of this is coming. And I'm in a place as well where I know I'm going to have enough time to prepare. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm in a position where I don't need to rush at a quick opportunity, because on the other side of COVID-19, there's going to be a lot of shows, a lot of opportunities for people that are ready to take them. I don't feel like I need to be one of them people all too much. But by the time it comes to the resume of play, then I'll be in a fairly decent place. I think it puts everything into perspective, what's really important. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Everyone chasing pound notes and material things, and it's like, really, like, this puts things into actual perspective. Like, we've heard, such tragic stories from the boxing world already. My thoughts go out immediately to like people like Anthony Yard, etc.
Yeah, horrible.
Who've lost people close. Yeah, it's ridiculous, and I feel like stuff like that reaching the surface has made a lot of people think a lot more deeper and how serious this actually is.
It's stripped everything back, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people, like, they just don't think it's ever going to happen to them.
Mm-hmm. Sonny, there was something you touched on about in the post-COVID-19 boxing world. There's an idea that maybe fighters start taking risks, maybe take less warm-up fights. Now, you're the British champion now. You're 14-0, I believe. Do you feel as though if you were offered a world title fight this year and it's against like a killer kind of thing, do you feel that's something you'd jump into because, hey, you never know? Or are you still going to just get back to the pace that you want to go at?
Yo, chuck me to the sharks and I'll come out swimming. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Like, there's not a single body in this world that I think I'd be outmatched against. I'm not saying I'd beat everyone. I'm not saying that, but I don't think there's a single person I can't mix it with on this planet at my weight. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've been in with a lot of them across the globe, and I'm yet to come up feeling like I'm out of my depth. Do you know what I mean? But I've been taking risks and wanting the risks all along. I mean, there's reasons as to why I didn't get WO shot for this fight coming up. I was ranked number 4. The number 3 took it, and the number 1 took it. Like, otherwise, I was there ready, knocking on the door. I put my hand up, but obviously that's not my place to say. Do you know what I mean? When there's people that have earned that right to be one step ahead of me. And my next fight was going to be for one of them other WO titles. And that would probably put me as a mandatory challenger or something. And I'm ready. Like, I've been ready. But at the same time, it's like everything's got to make sense. If I'm getting these opportunities and this coverage and exposure and money for certain fights, then them fights have to be a certain... I'm young. I don't need to force the risk straight up to world level when I can just take the stepping stones and take everything that comes with it. Every time you fight, you're building a bigger name. Every time you perform good, your stock goes up, etc. Picking up more titles, more experience. Like, there's every benefit of taking it step by step, as long as you're taking the right steps. And I feel like I have been. But at the same time, I've let my promoter know, obviously Frank Warren. I've let my manager know, MTK, my trainer, that as soon as I'm given the green light back them, I'm ready to go. I believe that it's the good foundations of a career to clear up the British scene. So even though a lot of people thinking I'm past them, I would still come back and prove that none of these people are matches for me. Do you know what I mean? When I don't have to. When really it's more of a risk than it's worth.
So there's still the short-term ambition to win the Lonsdale belt outright, have a few defences and build that way.
Let me see if I can turn this camera on. That's staying there. That's not going nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Match with all the other ones and like, that's not going anywhere. And especially not to any other of these fighters in Britain. That's one thing that's for sure.
Well, they don't want to fight you for it anyway.
100%. I mean, maybe the British board should look at something where if you don't have any mandatory challenger for a certain amount of, I don't know, maybe like 2 years or something, you should just get out, right?
Yeah, well, do you know what it feels like? It feels like you'll probably just end up fighting Marcel Braithwaite like 5 times in a row or something like that.
Yeah, and honestly, like, he's crying out for the fight. Of course he is. Like, he got beat about 34 of those 36 minutes when he was in the ring with me. He put me down, and he had a decent second round. Everything else was me. Mm-hmm. And his stock never has been so high. Like, he's never been higher rated just because he made me touch the canvas for the second time in my life. I want everyone to do well in boxing and out of boxing. I really do. And the simple thing is, the bigger a name, the better they're doing of my opponent, then when I fight them, the more lucrative it's going to be. Like, if someone else is absolutely smashing it and being a trailblazer, and then I'm doing the same, and then we meet up, then that's best for everyone. Like, there's fighters probably ranked 80th in the world, 70th in the world, 60th in the world that would beat like a fair few of the top 15, top 20. They just don't get the chance. Do you know what I mean? They're avoided. And when you haven't got a good promoter like I've got, like I've been avoided, but I've been built. Because they like my promoter or my management team, they believe in me. That if they put in the ground, the basics, that when I get to the top, I'm going to shine. And that's it. But there's great fighters out there. Like even if you look in the UK that haven't had the chance to step onto the big platforms, and they like have to proper slave away. Do you know what I mean? And it's hard, and sometimes they never get the shot. And then eventually they take a fight that's not on their terms against someone that is really good, and then they get beaten. They never get the credit they deserve. Do you know what I mean? And that is boxing.
When we do come out of this post-COVID-19 world, when you're allowed out, Sonny, what are you going to do? What's the first thing you're going to do?
Depends. It depends.
The smirk.
It depends. I mean, it depends if I've been told when I'm fighting it.
Right.
Because if not, I'm going to do what every other person my age is doing, to go hit a nightclub or something.
Absolutely.
I think, and just see all the people that we ain't been able to see, and just been FaceTiming for the last however many months. Like, this is going to sound really controversial, but hopefully some of these fighters that have been happy ticking away with their purses for just fighting journeymen and not taking risks, hopefully they realise now, like, nah, do you know what, like, if this puts it in perspective, like, look how much I'm struggling now, example, and whether if I took in the risks, I might be in a different position altogether. Like, because I'm glad that I didn't just sort of stick on the easiest fights possible all the way up to this point now, because that has left me in a more comfortable position.
Maybe it is a message to other fighters, especially around your weight, to, hey, you know, take a risk every now and again.
There's no shame in falling short. Like, the amount I've learned from my losses will always outweigh anything I've ever learned from my wins. Like, I can remember every single loss I've had as an amateur. Obviously, I've not tasted defeat yet as a pro. And I cried every single time, even when I lost when I was 18. Or no, 20, sorry. When I was lost in the ABA, my last loss. Every single time I cried because I hate losing. But every single one of them taught me more about me, more about myself, more about everything than any win.
On Twitter, you're just tormenting people every day.
I've got time. Like,
that's dangerous.
I've got time. Like, and I feel like it just is what it is. I mean, people like putting their opinions, but don't like when you get their opinions back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you've been taking souls on there sort of every day. I've been admiring some of your work.
You've been admiring some of my work. I feel like some things just need to be spoken on. But the thing is, 99% of it is me just replying to people anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, any final word to the fans, Sonny?
Stay inside.
Yeah.
You know, don't be a dick.
Sure.
I feel like that's what Boris should have led with. Don't be a dick. And I feel like people won't want to be a dick.
Well, maybe the new fellow's gonna do that. I don't know. Maybe the new fellow's gonna be.
Stay positive. Keep your mind occupied. I mean, I could start preaching about keeping fit and healthy, but I mean, I've not been doing that.
I mean, you've had 2 sessions, mate. You told me earlier. So.
Yeah, 2 sessions in however many weeks. But I've been doing a lot of visualization. I've been thinking about sessions a lot, and I feel like
a lot of people do that.
I've been watching other people's lives, right? And my legs have started aching from it. Imagine that. My legs would be aching for that. But the day that I need to make weight, I'll be on weight. That's it.
Of course you will, because you're a professional. You are Showtime. And thank you for checking in with the Lowdown. And I'm sure I'll catch up with you soon, mate.
Yeah, man. Call me whenever.